Good morning, everyone. Excuse me, bonjour tout le monde. Nous saluons dans le bon nom précieux de Jésus. Good morning, everyone. We salute you in the name of the Lord our God on this morning. So, my name is Pastor Lexius Brenny, and this is Preach the Word Ministries with the Real Talk podcast. We come to you on every morning. So this morning we are here for another talk as you look forward to face this new day with the Lord on your side. This morning we want to look into something that may be familiar to many people, but something that's not being talked about enough. Right? Unlocking family unwanted patterns. Unlocking family unwanted patterns. This is something we all should be interested in looking into. Many of us listening today, some way, somehow, there are some patterns as it relates to our family that we must assess and do something about. So I wanted to do somebody a favor and get a head start on the conversation. I know many of you maybe that's what you've been doing, okay? Trying to deal with some of the unwanted patterns or some unnecessary patterns in your family. May the Lord grant us His mercy as we look into this together, right? If this is your first time joining this channel, and if you like what we do here, what you can do, you can scan this QR code. It says scan me. You scan this QR code and it will take you to my channel. And there you can register. You can register with our channel. So if this is what you like to do, as a conversation about to start in a moment. So this QR code will be here and then you can click on it. Again, welcome to our Real Talk podcast. All right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Uh, my name is Pastor Lexius Brenny. For those of you who may not know, and this morning we're going to look into unlocking family unwanted patterns. So, if you are familiar with the story of King David, as we have projected in our advertisement of this segment, King David was indeed a king that God selected by his own hands. If you know the story, you know how God selected David over Saul. But David's family was not good at all. David's family was terrible. As if David was living today, he would have a good prophetic kinship, a divine respect, divine authority, but he would not have a social respect. He would not have a societal respect, because his family was terrible because of some of the mistakes that they made. The Bible says, I'm sorry, I was muted the whole time. This is some of the troubles happen in the family of David. So the reason why we are bringing all this up is because although the life of the family of David, they were terrible, but some of us today, we have to do some shaking. We have to do some selection. We have to do some work in some of the patterns, from family patterns that are being communicated to us today. Some of the family patterns that we carry today. Okay. So well, you may be thinking, what does, what happened in David's family, what does that have to do with me today? So the reason why this is important is because there are some mistakes. There are some mistakes that our ancestors made, and we have to pay for it today, because they're not living today to pay for it, right? It could be that David made a mistake with Bathsheba. David had a women problem. Okay? David had a women problem. I didn't say he had a problem with women. He had a women problem. Okay? David was what we call in the English, in the Hebrew language, polygamy. So he was a man with multiple wives. So he had a woman problem, right? Because of that that mistake that he made with Bathsheba led to creep into his family and jacked up his whole family line. Okay? So now today, some of us, we're living today with some of the mistakes that our ancestors that they made. So you have to be able to identify. You have to be able to identify. In fact, there's a book that's called, Unlocking the Family Patterns. There are some books out there. You have to be able to identify some of the things that you see in your family, and to know you got to take it to the Lord in prayer. Say, I don't want this, I don't want that. But first of all, you have to be able to identify those patterns, right? So oftentimes, some of us, we say, oh, I don't want this from my family, right? I don't want this from my parents. I don't want to repeat this behavior. I don't want to repeat that behavior, right? That's good. That's good. It's a good beginning. You can start there, right? But knowing that you just saying that, it's not going to make it happen. This is just a wishful thought. This is just you saying it. This is you declare that you're not going to do it. Now the work is going to come. What does that look like? What does it look like not to repeat the pattern of your parents? Some of the things of your parents, some of the mistakes that they made, what does that look like? Because David's children, obviously, they didn't know how to shake off some of the family patterns. They let this thing creep into their own lives and sabotage their life altogether. So today, my friends, as you are living today, maybe the counsel that I'm giving to you today, the sons of David did not receive those. Maybe they received the gods, maybe they did, right? But to declare that you don't want some things is different than how you going to go about doing it, right? So we're gonna be focusing on how you should do that. Okay? Once you notice a pattern with your family, obviously it could be dormant. Okay, let's say there's anger. Let's say there's anger issue, right, in the family. All right, let's say there's anger issue in the family, right? Okay, so you realize this anger is causing a lot of problem in the house, because when somebody gets really angry, it's really disruptive. It's unbearable. It's annoying, right? You don't want to repeat that, not only in your own lives, also in the life of your own family. So what you're going to do, you're going to recognize, you're going to try to identify how you respond to anger. Okay? So this is some of the things that you have to do today. Okay, of course, we're not going to be able to go into, give you all the pointers as what to do. We have them, but we're not going to be able to give them to you this morning because, we just wanted to present to you unlocking the unlocking family and unwanted family pattern. It should be unlocking unwanted family patterns. So let's kind of fix that so it makes sense. So it will make sense to you. Let's fix that. Should be family. Okay, should be unlocking unwanted family patterns. Okay, so this morning, this is what we are focusing on directly on unlocking unwanted family patterns. Okay, it's important. You might think it's a very small thing, something that has nothing to do with anything. So doesn't pay your bills and things like that. What I'm telling you, there are some things that families don't usually communicate problems. Most families don't talk about problems. You have to dig for your own self to find out. You have to pay attention to find out. Families don't communicate problems because of shame. Families don't communicate problem from the previous generations. They don't communicate. They don't let you know. This is some of the struggles that we have. But because of that, you don't want to be like David's family, right? Let's look at some of the ways, some of the things that happened to David's family. Okay, we're going to fix this first of all. We're gonna look together some of the things that happened to David's family. All right. Okay. All right. All right. So, okay. This is why you need to. This is why you don't want to play with some of the unwanted family pattern. Look at what happened to David, right? Because of what David did, look at what happened to his children. You have Amnon. Amnon raped his own sister and killed Absalom. Okay? So, and Absalom kills his brother Amnon for raping, Tamar, his own sister. Okay? He revolts against David. This is his son stand up against his own son. He killed in war of rebellion against David. Okay. Now you have Adonijah, right? It tries to make himself king instead of Solomon. If you know the scripture in 1 Kings chapter 1, right? And chapter 2 as well. And then he was killed after asking Solomon for David's concubine. So this is very chaotic, right? So what we will bring into you this morning and we are using the family of David to make the case this morning. It is very important. It is very important that you get to know some of the unwanted patterns in your family, some of the things that you see in your family that you don't want. So you can bring it to the Lord in prayer, or you can do something about it if it's something you can practically, work on. It could be some patterns that are really, 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 really and hidden in the blood. Like David, right? David had to pray so hard. David had to confess so hard because of that specific problem. Can you imagine today? Everything could be going right for you, but you are limited. Just like David, everything was going right for David, but he could not build the temple. Right? So you want to make sure that you identify if there's an anger problem in your family, right? If there's a women problem in your family, you need to find out so you will know. It might be dormant in you today, but it's good that you know so you can have victory over that thing. You don't want an unwanted family pattern to destroy your life. You don't want unwanted family pattern to destroy your life. And I'm talking like that today because I know, the nature, how powerful gene can be. Genetic is so powerful. You having the desire to do something, it's not going to do anything to your gene because it's so powerful, right? So you want to know how to unlock your family patterns. You need to discover them first. You need to be able to identify those patterns first and understand. You may not see it in your family, in your own life. It may be dormant in your life as right now, but if it's in the family, you really need to keep an eye on it. If it's in the family, you need to really, really get to know about this thing. I know this might make somebody very uncomfortable this morning, talking about unwanted patterns of your family, right? But you are making space for you to flourish. Once you are able to identify patterns that can get in the way of your success, that's what you need to do. That's why we're talking about this. It's for your own success. I know you want to hear some positive stuff, right? But we have to show you the problem. We have to present to you what can potentially present. So what we're doing this morning, we are making you aware of some of the unwanted family patterns that may be hidden in your life, in your family's lives. So it's good not to just sleep on it, not to stay silent on it. Don't think it's a shame. I know families have a tendency to keep things hidden, right? To keep it hidden because of shame. So you need to find a way to shake it off, because it's very important not to let those unwanted family patterns, bad patterns, to destroy your life, to destroy your reputation. Again, this is Pastor Lectures Brennan coming to you, presenting to you how to be careful, to presenting to you the potential of unwanted family pattern, how they can destroy your life. Just like the sons of David, they got victimized and they were destroyed. They lost their lives at very young age because of some of the unwanted family pattern they did not deal with appropriately. So you want to be able to identify those patterns. Some of them, they are so strong, you really need to take it to the Lord in prayer. But God, just the same way God forgave David and give David a name in history, God will forgive you too and give you a name in life. But you can't just stay silent on that. Again, we love to come on here and to present to you things that we believe are very important. Again, remember, if this is your first time coming on this channel, Preach the Word Ministry and Real Talk Podcast, take some time to get familiar and subscribe. So whenever we come on here to say something in a few minutes, so you will not miss it. This is what I wanted to bring to you this morning. Get familiar with the unwanted family patterns in your life so you can deal with them appropriately. May God bless you as you go by your day today, as you tackle the day with wisdom and with certainty, with surety, with confidence. Just remember to tackle with confidence. I know whatever you might be going through this morning, may this not be your last resort. May this not be your destination. May this not be your stop. Okay, your last stop. Okay, whatever you're going through this morning, keep in mind your problems needs you to resolve them. Okay, just keep that in mind. May God bless you. Have a pleasant day, and until I see you again. Bye-bye.